Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to the Airbus A319. Today we're going to fly the CFM-powered Eurowings A319 from Aerosofts Düsseldorf over to Inibuild's London Heathrow. Thank you very much to the developers of these two airports for providing me with the review copies, and also a huge thank you to our sponsor, SayIntentions.AI. If you're looking for an AI-powered air traffic control add-on, especially one that is not only doing IFR traffic but also things like VFR, data link and so on, then SayIntentions may just about be for you. If you like what you see in this video, be sure to check them out using the link in the video description below. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into our aircraft and start setting us up for this evening flight over to London Heathrow. So we've just received the aircraft here in a turnaround state. We are going to fly from the first officer's seat today, as we haven't done that in a little while. And then before we start with any of the actual pre-flight procedures, I suggest we are quickly going to have a look into our flight plan. So for that, into the EFB and tap to import our SimBrief plan. And then once that thing has downloaded, we can go ahead and have a look into the flight plan tab. We're going to start with the charts, as these are going to be fairly easy. It's standard module departure and then more or less a straight line over to London Heathrow. In terms of weather, we do have some severe icing forecast below level 200. But our anti-ice systems are operating normally today, and apart from that there is nothing special over here. The airport weather is, well, a little bit rainy, as we can already see outside, and in Heathrow it's currently not raining, but as you can see in the forecast there is a Prop 30 for temporary heavy rain showers, which may impact the operation over there. Our alternate Stansted is looking a little bit better. At least today there isn't any heavy rain showers, just standard showers of rain. And East Midlands is quite good until tomorrow morning as well. With that in mind, we are flying to London Heathrow. That means delay is to be expected. So if we depart on time, we're going to arrive like 12-13 minutes ahead of schedule. We have more than enough margin at any and all of those weights. So going down into the fuel section, we can see that we are planned with just about 4,700 kilos, but since it's Heathrow, I want to take some 20 minutes extra, so let's go ahead and take, let's say, 600 kilos on top over here. So that roughly brings us from 4.7 to 5.3 tons of fuel, and I think that that's a good quantity for us to take. So let's go down here, say 5,300 kilograms, apply and load, and we can do all of that through GSX. Well, and then we can already start with our preliminary cockpit preparation. So the engine master levers are off, engine start selector is unknown, the weather radar is turned off, landing gear lever is down, the wiper selectors are both off, and the batteries are on. Now we are operating on external power already. We don't need the APU just yet, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and do the APU fire test here. So we do this, and that is looking very good. So our speakers are also set already over here and over here, and then for our comms we can go ahead and set some basic frequencies up here. So let's quickly go over here, start chart, airport reference chart, and we can go with a night chart straight away. So we've got delivery on 121.78, which I'm going to set active like this, and then we can take the ATIS frequency on 123.78 on our side here. So 123.78, let's have a quick listen.
N at 4600 feet. Temperature 18. Dew point 11. QNH 1006. Density altitude 700 feet. Transition level 70. Arriving runways 23 left, 23 right. Departing runway 23 left. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is...
Okay, so we do have an ATIS on board. I've started our FMS initialization in the meantime here. Then the IRS has already been aligned, but I just want to do a realignment here because we just took the aircraft over from another crew. So let's turn these off, wait a couple seconds, and then we can turn all three back on again. The cockpit lights are already set pretty well. I am, however, gonna turn those up a little bit over here, and down here as well. Floodlights can already come on as well. That's looking wonderful. And that's that. Then let's head over into the EFB here and do our preliminary takeoff performance. So takeoff run available from runway 23 left, intersection Lima 1 is 2645, and that's what we're going to calculate. So 23 left, wet runway, synchronized preliminary load sheet, anti-ice should probably be off. Yeah, 16 degrees, it's definitely off. And then intersection Lima 1. Alright, and as we can see, we can depart without any problems. So with that, our takeoff data is done. Then let's do the before walk-around checks. That's oxygen pressure is okay. Then our hydraulic quantities are okay. The engine oil quantities are okay. The flaps are in agreement with the lever. Park and brake is released. Let's test our brakes. And those are looking good. What's the brake temperature right now? Very cold. Okay, perfect. In that case, park and brake is set. Well, perfect, and that's the preliminary cockpit preparation complete. So let's head into the cockpit preparation procedure. And again, they've given us the aircraft in a rather strange config over here. Let's see about the refueling. It's almost finished. Tell you what, let's turn that on. Alright, fuel pumps coming on, then we can do our fire test. Looking good for engine number 1, and the same thing for engine number 2. Which is also looking good. Right, over here everything's set, the PA is up for recording, no popped CBs on the top there. Then we can head right down, QNH is set, the DCDUs are on. Well, I suppose we can recharge the IQ pressure here, so... Come on, yellow electric pump is coming on. And that should recharge the accumulator in a moment. And indeed it does, very good. Nice. Alright, so moving further down, there really isn't all that much to do on the ACP on the left side over here. The ACP on the right side is also looking good. Then ground clutter suppression, come on, should be on. Down here everything's set, transponder going on to number 2, and then let's head straight into the FMS. So we'll start with the received messages here. That's 2 load sheets. We're only really interested in the later one. Edition number 2, Eurowings 64 uniform. On the 5th of June, Düsseldorf to Heathrow on the Alpha Kilo November Tango, which is today's airplane. Alright, we are 0 fuel weight limited. And that's all looking good. 138 passengers are expected. And they do have the correct fuel order as well, so we can accept that load sheet. So then, onto the aircraft status. A319-100, CFM56, nav database is up to date. All those scratchpad messages are checked. Then, flight plan request. And while we're waiting for that, let's quickly head up over here. And here we go. So, we will be Eurowings 64 uniform, cost index 15, flight level 340, and the temperature up there is going to be minus 49 degrees. Like this, ground temperature is 18, tropopause doesn't really matter, wind data can already be uplinked. So, flight plan 23 left. Mordru to Tango departure, I guess, insert. And then for Heathrow, we are most likely arriving 27 left. Logan to hotel arrival and the Lamborn transition. And that's looking excellent. So then let's go ahead and cross-check our standard instrument departure. We should have a dedicated RNAV chart here. So let's see, should be this one. That's straight at Delta Lima 243, maximum 210, right hand turn to Uboro, which is an overfly point. And we got Delta Lima 243, maximum 210, then Uboro, overfly point, left to Natex, maximum 250, and then on towards Modro above level 210. And in here we have Natex 250, and then Modro above level 210, so that's looking very good. Now for the secondary flight plan, emergency is straight at 25 miles, so that's going to be Düsseldorf 23 left, /230 and 25. Here we go, and for the return, new destination Düsseldorf, and we can select the arrival over here as well, ILS 23 left, and that's it. Now for the fixed info page, we are going to draw the extended center line. Düsseldorf 23 left, 230, and over here we take the emergency point, which is going to be the PBD01, because I was too lazy to give it a proper name. Alright, so far so good. Then let's go over to the init page number 2, and except for, we're not going to take it from the plan, we're just going to take it out of the set load sheet here. So zero fuel is 55.1, and let's see, CG 30.8. Alright, fuel 5.3 is on board as ordered. Here we go, and then we can have another quick look into the fuel section, where we can see the alternate fuel is 1 and the final reserve is 1 as well. So 1000, 0.2 is okay. Then on to the performance, and over here we have flaps 1 and 68 degrees flex at takeoff speeds of 26, 36, 39. Like this. So 1000, 1000, 1500, transition 5000 is correct. Takeoff shift, let's see, is 100 meters. Okay, and I think this is looking quite good. So 206 is the clean speed. That means we can actually retract the flaps straight away. Awesome. So there really isn't all that much more to do. Then let's go ahead and ensure our FCU is also set up. So QNH 1006 is in here. Climb at 5000. Alright, and I think that's it. So, very good. Now that we've got all this stuff done, let's go ahead and...
I see. And if traffic service is requested,
let's request our
read
PDC.
all runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Charlie. Düsseldorf Airport, information Charlie. 2120 Zulu. Wind 165 at 14. Visibility 6.
Alright, so information Charlie. Düsseldorf to Heathrow, Eurowings 64 uniform, gate Alpha 4, info Charlie, Moin, station Düsseldorf A319. That's looking good, so let's send that. So PDC, request received, stand by. Looking awesome. Alright, great. So with that we should have pretty much everything on board. So, request being processed, stand by.
Emmanuel, boarding has started and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard Eurowings flight 9464, departing from Düsseldorf to London. We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes, and please stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, don't hesitate to contact our friendly crew. We're here to help you. Thank you for choosing Eurowings, and we hope you have a pleasant flight.
Alright, cool. So we're still waiting for the clearance, but I think there aren't many options of what they're going to give us, so let's go ahead with the departure briefing, please. Alright, thanks. So we're departing Düsseldorf, runway 23 left, model 2 Tango departure, initial climb 5000, MSA 2800, the highest, and extra fuel and time we have 20 minutes. So let's see, model 2 Tango, yeah, the rest is confirmed. That's looking good. Wilco and send. And then let's go ahead with the second part of the briefing. Alright, so, no hotspots for our taxi routing. The engine out sits straight at 25 miles. Stop margin for this one is in the region of a couple hundred meters, so absolutely not critical. In case we need to make an immediate return, runway 23 left is available, 23 right is as well, 23 left is programmed, and we should have a decent stop margin below the maximum landing weight, so that's absolutely not going to be a problem. Apart from that, I don't have anything special or non-standard. Anything on your side? No? Wonderful, so that's our briefing completed. Now let's shut that door already. Okay, so, clearance is received. Cleared to Heathrow via mode route 2 Tango departure, which is confirmed. Maintain 5,000 feet. Set. Departure on 128.655. Gonna tune that up here. So 128.655 as a reminder. Okay, squawk 3231. Alright, expect runway 23 left, which we do, and that's our clearance confirmed. Wonderful, the doors are closed, then let's go ahead and start the APU, please. Oh, come on. Here we go, that's looking better. Alright, and then let's say hello to our passengers. Liebe Fluggäste, einen schönen guten Abend aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel. Im Namen der Eurowings sind Sie herzlich an Bord unseres Airbus A319 auf diesem Flug 9464 nach London Heathrow willkommen. Die Flugzeit heute etwa 50 Minuten. Wir erwarten einen ruhigen Flug in einer Höhe von ca. 10.000 Metern. Wir bedanken uns ganz herzlich, dass Sie unsere Gäste sind. Lehnen Sie sich zurück, genießen den Flug mit uns und wenn es etwas gibt, womit wir Ihnen diesen angenehmer gestalten können, zögern Sie bitte nicht, sich an unsere Flugbegleiter zu wenden. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel. In the name of Eurowings, welcome aboard our Airbus A319 on this flight 9464 to London Heathrow. Today's flight time will be about 50 minutes. We expect a smooth flight at an altitude of approximately 10,000 meters. For the time being, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, cool. So the cabin is briefed. And the load sheet is here. Wonderful. In compliance with edition number 2, zero fuel weight 55.0. And the CG is at 30.8. That's a takeoff weight of 60.1 versus 60.2, close enough. 138 plus 2 infants. And we have 29.5. So that's around about, well, here. So up trim, let's say 0.4. Like this. Alright, perfect. So, accepting this. Looks awesome. So, the brake is set. Okay, cool. Cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 5,300 kilograms balanced. Seatbelts on. ADRs. Nav. Baroref. QNH 1006. And that's the cockpit preparation checklist complete. Ground vom Flydeck. Schönen guten Abend. So, bitte bestätigen Sie, alle Groundchecks komplett und der Flieger ist bereit für den Pushback. Jawohl, das ist alles bestätigt. Verstanden, wir fragen nach der Freigabe. So, in Germany, we normally do these things in German with the ground crew. Many of them don't even speak proper English. Now tell me one thing. Why on earth did it change me away from my delivery frequency? I guess I don't want to know, huh? Düsseldorf Delivery, Eurowings 64 Uniform, request startup.
I'll have your clearance in just a second.
Yeah, we have our clearance already. Negative, we only request startup.
Eurowings 64 uniform, startup approved. Contact ground on 121.605 for pushback and taxi instructions.
Startup approved 121.605, Eurowings 64 uniform, danke. Düsseldorf count, Eurowings 64 uniform, request pushback. So the transponder is on.
Eurowings 64 uniform, pushback approved, face north.
Pushback approved, face north, Eurowings 64 uniform. Okay, before start checklist. Park and brake. Set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 126, VR 136, V2 139, flex 68. Windows are closed and the beacon is on. Before start checklist complete. So, Boden vom Cockpit. Wir haben die Pushback-Freigabe, Nase nach Norden.
Eurowings Flight 9464, departing from Düsseldorf to London.
Okay, Pushback nach Norden, bitte die Bremse lösen. Die Bremse ist gelöst. Der Pushback beginnt. Standby auf beiden Motoren. Roger.
We are delighted to have you with us today. Now let's go over some important safety information. First, please ensure your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap.
Alright, my friend, and with that, here we go.
In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the panel above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen, place it over your nose and mouth.
So, we're getting close to getting behind the red line.
Remember to secure your own mask before assisting others.
So, Sie können beide Motoren
For our
anlassen.
overwater flights,
Verstanden, wir
life
starten in der
vests
Sequenz
are
1, dann
located
2.
under your seats. To use them,
Engine 1
pull
start.
them out, slip it over your head, and pull the straps to tighten. Inflate the vest by pulling the red tabs, or by blowing into the tubes. In the event of an evacuation, please leave your luggage behind and proceed to the nearest exit. We have 2 emergency exits at the front, and 2 at the rear of the aircraft. Please take a moment to locate your nearest exit, which may be behind you. We are currently pushing back and expect a flight time of approximately 57 minutes. Once we reach cruising altitude, we will be offering a selection of snacks from our Wings bistro, including our famous fries in the skies and the delicious donor pocket. For those who wish to stay connected, our Wi-Fi service, Wings Connect, is available for purchase, except for our biz-class passengers who enjoy it for free. We only
So, der
accept
Pushback ist
credit cards
beendet, die
for
Bremse
this
bitte
service.
setzen.
Thank you for your attention.
Bremse ist gesetzt und wir haben einen guten Start auf der 1, starten die 2.
Now, Emmanuel, the cabin
Engine
is ready
to
for
start.
departure.
So, it is getting dark already, isn't it? Wir haben 2 gute Triebwerksstarts, das Flugzeug bitte zum Rollen vorbereiten, Freizeichen auf der linken Seite und einen schönen Abend noch. Tschüss. Okay, so there's our ramp agent, there's the clear signal. After start checklist, please. Anti-ice, off, ECAM status, checked, pitch trim, 29.9%, rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist complete. Eurowings 64 uniform, request taxi.
Eurowings 64 uniform, taxi to runway 23 left via Lima 5, Mike.
Taxi to runway 23 left via Lima 5 and Mike, Eurowings 64 uniform. Clear left side, clear right side. Okay, let's go. Brake check. Pressure 0. Alright, so Lima 5 is the taxiway that we're already on, and then Mike is going to be the next to the left-hand side. In the meantime, it looks like one of my controls isn't doing the job it's supposed to do. Let's fix that real quick. Interesting, the rudder is assigned over here. Ah, and now it's working. Don't ask me. Alright, very good. So straight ahead, left, right, and then all the way to the full length runway 23 left. Clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Okay, flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and the rudder. Yeah, it works. Okay, so I have no changes to the takeoff briefing. So we're just waiting for the cabin to get ready now. That's how I like it. Most important parts of the briefing. Engine out straight at 25. Normal sit is going to be a right-hand turn at 2000 with contact departure 128655, and the MSA is 2800. Apart from that, nothing special, nothing non-standard. Okay, the cabin is ready. Taxi checklist. Hi, Emmanuel in the machine room.
The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thanks. Okay, taxi checklist. Flight controls, checked. Flap setting, config 1 plus F. Radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto. Engine start selector, norm, ECA memo, takeoff, no blue. Taxi checklist complete. So the next frequency will be 118305. We can pre-select that. He didn't mention any specific intersection, so I'm just going to go to the full length here. That shall be fine.
Eurowings 64 uniform, contact tower on 118.305.
118.305, Eurowings 64 uniform. Düsseldorf Tower, Eurowings 64 uniform, ready for departure. So going a little bit uphill over here.
Eurowings 64 uniform, Düsseldorf Tower, runway 23 left, winds 165 at 14, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 23 left, cleared for takeoff, Eurowings 64 uniform. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Line up checklist. Takeoff runway, 23 left full length, TCAS, TARA, PAX 1 and 2. Off, lineup checklist complete.
Approaching
Alright.
23 left.
So the approach is clear, 23 left is confirmed. Let's bring it down to 10 knots. Okay, are you ready? Take off.
On runway 23 left.
Manflex 68 SRS runway auto thrust blue. Knots, checked. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up, nav, checked. Alrighty. First climb auto thrusts.
Eurowings 64 uniform, contact departure on 128.655.
128.655, Eurowings 64 uniform. Flap 0. Speed checked, flaps 0. Long radar, Eurowings 64 uniform, passing 2,500, climbing 5,000.
Eurowings 64 uniform, Düsseldorf departure, not seeing you on radar. Double check 2364, ident again.
Squawk 2364, Eurowings 64 uniform. And you wanted a flash as well, so let's press ident as well.
Eurowings 64 uniform identified. 4 southwest of Düsseldorf at 4300 feet. QNH 1006. Climb via the SID to flight level 210.
Eurowings 64 uniform, climb via SID flight level 210. First climb out 21,000 blue. Set standard. Standard cross check, passing flight level 56. Now. Alright, temperature is 14, so we're good without anti-ice. Don't need that timer anymore since our engines are in climb thrust now. And here we go. Autopilot 2. Interesting clouds over here. Can't really tell anything. Except for some weird lights over here. Well, welcome to Microsoft Flight Sim, I suppose. Okay, so let's see. We got to cross motor above level 210 and we'll be in level 229 indeed. Easy going. Eurowings 64 uniform, request to proceed direct motor.
Eurowings 64 uniform, proceed direct to Modru.
Core seat direct to Modru, Eurowings 64 uniform. Okay, Modru direct. And that also relieves us of the speed restriction. I love it. So, lights going off. We'll wait a moment with our seatbelts until we're actually fully clear of the weather. We'll keep the constraints for now, since we still got to cross-check the Modru constraint. And apart from that, we can already do clear and very interesting fuel forecast. It has the correct distance, so no idea why it's doing this. Probably a bug. Well, clear and copy, please. So nothing in here, copy active, and then we have flight level 340 versus 370, which is fair enough for me. Alright, perfect. So with that, everything is set. Now we're going to cross Modru at flight level, what's that, 212? Interesting, look at how the FMS is somewhat cut off on the right here. Anyway, flight level 212 is more than sufficient. Temperature is plus 10 now, engine anti-ice on. And, well, I think it looks rather smooth to me now, so let's turn the seatbelts off. Well, and that's it for the time being. So for now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And then I'll see you again on the approach into London Heathrow.
London Control, contact Heathrow radar on 125.625.
One 125.625 Eurowings 64 uniform. Well, my friends, and here we are. So 125.625. Let's say hello to Heathrow. And most importantly, let's get back into our seats. Heathrow radar, Eurowings 64 uniform, level 142, descending level 70.
Eurowings 64 uniform, Heathrow radar identified. Good evening, expect the ILS runway 27 right approach into Heathrow.
Expect ILS 27 right, Eurowings 64 uniform. Alrighty, that's what we're expecting anyway, so let me give you a quick briefing of what we're about to do. Lamborn is our clearance limit up here, and after that we're expecting radar vectors for the ILS approach. Now, let's have a look down here. So, we do have the standard approach out of Lamborn in here, but in reality it's probably going to be radar vectors. The approach itself starts in 2,500 with a 3-degree glide slope down to the minimum of 278 feet on this runway. In case of go-around, we'll proceed on the runway track to 1,580 and then a right turn 299, climbing to 3,000 feet. Now, in terms of the nav aids, we don't need anything special. We do have Heathrow in here, and then for our approach, we have a little config full approach. We are going to be fairly slow, but it just helps the aircraft to slow down, and that's something that I do want to pay some attention to today. For the go-around, the MSA 2200, and we do have 27 minutes of extra fuel. Secondary flight plan has runway 27 left in here, just in case we get a last-minute change. Auto brake low, and that's it. Alright, so that's our approach setup for today. But let's go ahead and start with the approach briefing. So, it'll be radar vector ILS approach runway 27 right in Heathrow, minimums 278, MSA 2200. In case of go-around, straight at 1580, right turn heading 299, climbing 3000, and then as per ATC instructions. Extra fuel and time, we have about 25 minutes. Alright, thanks for that. So, we are going to fly this approach with flight director guidance. ILS, flaps full, idle reverse, vacate the runway to the left using auto brakes low. Stop margin is more than 1000 meters, and for our taxiing I don't have any particular hotspots. However, it is going to be a fairly long way around on the way in, so we are going to do single engine taxiing. Apart from that, nothing special, nothing non-standard, and that's it. Anything from your side?
Eurowings 64 uniform, descend altitude 4000, turn right heading 280 vectors for the ILS runway 27 right approach.
Eurowings 64 uniform, turn right heading 280, descend altitude 4000, vectors ILS 27 right. Eurowings 64 uniform, confirm QNH.
Eurowings 64 uniform, QNH 1002.
QNH 1002, Eurowings 64 uniform. Set QNH. QNH 1002, cross-check passing 9400 now. Check.
Captain, cabin is ready.
Right, light, signs, constraints, LS.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our final approach into London.
And I
Please turn
think we
off
can
all
definitely
electronic
reduce our rate of
devices and
descent a
stow
little
them
bit
until
here.
we've arrived at the gate.
2000 feet a minute.
Ensure your tray tables are
vertical
put away.
speed.
Your seats are in their full
Alright,
upright
GPS
position.
primary, mode select
And your
the norm,
seatbelts are fastened.
and T-car speed
Our
low.
Eurowings staff will provide you with
And
information
that's it.
regarding your connecting flights once we are on the ground.
Alright, sequence flight plan,
Thank you
please.
for your cooperation.
Eurowings 64 uniform. Proceed direct Charlie Foxtrot 27 Romeo. Descend altitude 3000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 27 right approach.
Eurowings 64 uniform, direct 10 miles final, runway 27 right, descend altitude 3000 until established, cleared LS 27 right. Okay, well that was the very easy version of it. So let's see, we are about 1000 below the profile. Yeah, perfectly fine. Let's just do vertical speed over here, 500 feet a minute until we catch the profile. Okay then, so far so good. Let's do the approach checklist, please. Barrel reference, QNH 1002, seatbelts on, minimum, barrel 278, auto brake, low, engine start selector, norm approach checklist complete. Alright, easy going, that's how we like it. So we're approaching the profile, descent. So, looks like we're heading right towards downtown. Temperature is +9, so we keep the anti-ice for the time being. Thrust idle. So, just one quick setup point here. Heathrow, ground charts. So, parking stands, that's the one we need. And we'll pin the taxiing chart as well. And last but not least, approach 27 right. Wonderful, so that's all we need for the approach. So, temperature is +10, engine anti-ice off. Yes, off. Alright, lovely. Let me do a very quick PA to the passengers. You have control your ATC. Liebe Fluggäste aus dem Cockpit, hier Co-Pilot mit einem kleinen Update. Wir haben unseren Sinkflug nach London gestartet. Auf der linken Seite können Sie die Stadt so langsam auch sehen. Das Wetter leicht regnerisch, die Temperatur um 14 Grad. Wir hoffen, Sie hatten einen angenehmen Flug mit Eurowings, wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt und gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und würden uns freuen, Sie bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge willkommen zu heißen. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your first officer speaking. We started our approach to London Heathrow, and on the left side you can slowly start to see the city come into view. The weather, as you can see, a little bit rainy, temperatures about 14 degrees. Would like to thank you very much for choosing Eurowings for today's flight. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we'll look forward to welcome you again on board of a future service. Thank you very much for your attention. Alright, wonderful. So the passengers are briefed, and with that, pretty much everything is done. One thing to show you guys real quick is going to be the approach calculations. So 27 right, good, refresh and apply. And let's see what our landing weight is, 58 tons. So low auto brakes, flex full, manual thrust and idle reverse, 1933 meters. Plus the factor, so 2223. That's pretty good. Alright, cool. Just needed to have that one on the record. Something I don't quite understand in this sim is why is the aircraft that low in the camera and only now getting towards the middle of the screen. Strange little sim. Okay, so let's do a typical Heathrow. That's gonna be down 180 until we are established, so flaps 1. Hello, Emmanuel in the machine room.
Cabin is now secure for landing.
Thanks. So we are clear for the approach. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, glide slope localizer blue. Alright, and then once established we'll do 160 until 40 in E. That would be typical Heathrow. Flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. Alright, here we go. Cat 1. And manual thrust. All star.
Eurowings 64 uniform, contact Heathrow Tower on 124.48.
124.48, Eurowings 64 uniform. Heathrow Tower, Eurowings 64 uniform, ILS 27 right. Halt.
Eurowings 64 uniform, Heathrow Tower identified.
Oh, I thought those very high voices were only VATSIM things. Blockstar. Blast flip star. Go around altitude 3000 set. Lock. So let's see, ground is most likely going to be 121.705, I guess. Glide slope. Right, nicely established. The wind is from straight ahead at 27 knots, so I guess the speed restriction is really not going to be an issue today at all.
2,500.
Checked. So A320 family, that means we're going to configure at 2000.
Eurowings 64 uniform, Heathrow Tower, winds 250 at 10, runway 27 right, clear to land.
Runway 27 right, clear to land, Eurowings 64 uniform. So now comes the part that I absolutely hate as a former low-cost pilot. But since we gotta maintain the speed until 4 miles, let's go gear down. Flaps 3. Speed checked. Flaps 3. And flaps full. Speed checked. Flaps full. Landing checklist. ECAM memo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. Okay, manage speed. So, typical British weather, huh? We definitely found the right airport.
1000.
Checked. So, our airplane is nice and clean.
Approaching 27 right.
Intentionally. So, as always, the focus to good landing is to minimize the control inputs to what's absolutely necessary. Land. For instance, you can see that I'm barely changing the thrust at all. Adding a tiny bit right now, just to be sure that we stay within the
200.
Just to be sure that we stay within the range for our approach speed.
200.
So, continue.
Retard.
Spoilers. Reverse green, decel. And please be so kind to load my airport. You do have a local copy of it. $70 knots. Manual brakes.
Eurowings 64 uniform. Welcome to Heathrow. Contact ground on 121.705.
121.705 Eurowings 64 uniform. Okay, with that lovely runway, let's focus on actually vacating first.
The cabin is ready for deboarding.
That's nice, but we're not at the gate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to London. We have just landed at Heathrow Airport and the local time is 10 p.m. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. Did you know that London is home to the oldest underground railway system in the world? It's called the Tube, and it has been in operation since 1863. Thank you for flying with Eurowings today. On behalf...
Heathrow ground, Eurowings 64 uniform, request taxi to gate 224.
Eurowings 64 uniform, taxi to runway 27 left via Sierra Alpha. Contact tower when ready.
Eurowings 64 uniform, request taxi to gate 224. Not sure what they understood from my earlier call, but it took them a long time. They were probably confused as well. So let's see what they're gonna say this time.
Eurowings 64 uniform, taxi to Terminal 2A, stand 224, via Alpha, Lima, Bravo. Good day.
Eurowings 64 uniform, taxi to gate 224 via Alpha, Lima, Bravo. Good day. Alright, that sounds better. So Alpha is the first one to the left. And then we go via Lima and Bravo. Alright, we can absolutely do that. So, a pity after such a beautiful flight that the sim decided not to load our airport properly. At least it did that after we vacated, so we can taxi to the gate, contrary to our recent Paris flight. So that's that. Well, for now, after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear off, after landing checklist complete. Now, if you're wondering, the way you can easily tell that is by watching for the predictive wind shear off message over here, and then you don't get the weather or the tilt angle of the weather radar over here. That way you know it is indeed turned off. Alright, so let's see. We want GSX. So 2 Alpha, stand 224. And that is without a follow me, please. Handling by shipport. And that's it. So we will taxi via Lima. That's beyond the Terminal 2 Bravo. So beyond that one here. So it's going to be straight ahead for a little while. Okay, so overall that was a pretty good flight. Now, thinking about everything that's happened over here, of course they could have been a little bit better with the radar vectoring and not just give us a direct to a 10-mile final. On the other hand side though, since there was simply no other traffic over here, a direct to a 10-mile final is pretty much exactly what we would have gotten from air traffic control in the real world as well. Provided that they don't have any traffic, which of course pretty much never happens in Heathrow, but just for completeness here, provided that they don't have any traffic, direct 10-mile final, which is the Charlie India point that we received, is pretty much exactly what you always get in the real world in the UK. So I guess depending on the perspective from which you view this, this could have been very realistic. Or it could just have been, yeah, 10 miles. Up to you for interpretation, but that's something that everyone will have to decide on their own. Personally, I guess since they are preparing SayIntentions for the rollout of the AI traffic, I guess they have probably implemented that already. So we'll see in the future. We will see about it. So, for the time being, let's do single engine taxi. So, come on, elect pump, here we go, and shut down 2. We are allowed to do this without APU now. Finally, after a long time, now after many wasted APU hours, Airbus has finally allowed single engine taxi without APU. Okay, so we turn right onto Bravo, and then gate 224 is over here on the second terminal that we'll be facing. So, clear on the left side and clear on the right side. So, give me 40% N1, let's accelerate a little bit. You really only have a very minimal tendency of the aircraft to turn right with the engine running at that thrust. That's something that I like a lot, because many add-on aircraft get that completely wrong, but the Phoenix is very good in terms of single-engine taxi handling. Alright, so start APU. So 224 is going to be somewhere over there. Gotta read those ground markings. So 221. .223 and thereafter 224. Very good. Lights off. Okay, the guidance system is on. Yep, a little bit of lagging here. And here we go. A319 is on the guidance. We overshot slightly. It's been a while since we've flown an airplane this short. Three, two, oh come on, we really need some thrust. Yep, looks like it. Stop. Here we are. So, APU bleeders on the ecam. Cabin crew, all doors in park. And here we go. So, engines running down. Side stick forward. That one had to come now, right? Okay, clear that. So, beacon off. These slides are disarmed, so seatbelts off. APU connected, love it. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now parked at the gate here at London Heathrow Airport. On behalf of Captain Emmanuel, First Officer Ace, and the entire crew, I would like to thank you for flying with Eurowings
brake
today.
trucks.
We hope you have a
Well,
wonderful
trucks should
stay
be in
here
position,
and a
so
beautiful
brakes off,
vacation.
engines
Safe travels
off,
to your next
wing lights
destination.
off,
It was a
and
pleasure
fuel
having you
pumps
on board,
off. Parking check
and
is
we
complete.
look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.
Alright, I can only second that. Thank you very much for flying along, everyone. Looking forward to see you again soon. In the meantime, though, be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, as that's really what's improving this channel. If you like the ATC from this video, or the cabin announcement, or the data link, or everything in combination, be sure to check out SayIntentions.AI using the link that you can find in the video description and the pinned comments below. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Perhaps that's going to pay for the broken engine that GSX has busted right over here. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.